So, here's the big question. It's late 2025. Handheld PC gaming is more crowded than ever, and yet the Steam Deck is still everywhere. From what I personally see, new Windows handhelds promise more power, better specs, and flashier numbers, while Valve's device looks almost unchanged on paper. So, should you still buy a Steam Deck right now, or is time finally caught up with it? Let's break this down honestly, model by model, without hype, and without pretending it's something it's not. First, let's get one thing clear. In my opinion, the Steam Deck in 2025 is not trying to compete with high-end gaming laptops or ultra-powerful Windows handhelds. What it offers instead is balance. I think the balance is really what has kept it relevant. It's about accessibility, comfort, and a console-like PC gaming experience that still feels unique even years after launch. If you're shopping today, you're essentially choosing between three versions: the 256GB LCD model, the 512GB OLED model, and the 1TB OLED model. The 526GB LCD Steam Deck is now the entry point. It comes with a 7-inch 1280x800 LCD display, running at up to 60Hz. It supports Wi-Fi 5 and has a 40 WHR battery rated for around 2 to 8 hours depending on the game, and includes a standard 45-watt charger, carrying case, and Steam Profile bundle. Performance-wise, it is identical to every other Steam Deck. Same CPU, same GPU, same RAM. From my perspective, this model exists purely for price. If you're on a tight budget and just want access to Steam Deck's ecosystem, it does the job. But visually, I feel this is clearly the weakest option in 2025, especially next to the OLED models. Then there's the 512GB OLED Steam Deck, and this is where things start to get interesting. I honestly think that this is the model most people should be looking at. The display jumps to 7.4-inch HDR OLED panel, still 1280x800, but now with up to a 90Hz refresh rate. Colors are dramatically better, blacks are truly black, motion clarity improves, and HDR support makes a real difference in supported games. You also get Wi-Fi 6E, which means faster downloads and more stable online play, plus a larger 50 WHR battery that can push battery life to 3 to 12 hours, depending on what you're playing. Finally, there's the 1TB OLED Steam Deck. Functionally, it's the same as the 512GB OLED, but with double the internal storage. Premium anti-glare etched glass on the display, a carrying case with a removable liner, and a few cosmetic bonuses like an exclusive startup movie and keyboard theme. Personally, I see this as the luxury option. If you want maximum storage without relying on micro SD cards and prefer reduced screen reflections, this is it. One major caveat here, this is something that I feel many people overlook. Availability depends heavily on region. In many regions, Steam Deck hardware is still not officially sold, including large parts of Asia. Valve currently offers official availability in Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Hong Kong via Komodo. If you're outside supported regions, you're either importing or looking at refurbished units. Certified refurbished Steam Decks. This is actually one of the smartest ways to buy in late 2025, in my view. Valve's certified refurbished Steam Decks are fully tested, come with a 1-year warranty, and can save you up to 20%. If I were buying on a budget today, this is where I would start looking, especially for the OLED models. Performance in 2025. Still good enough? Under the hood, every Steam Deck uses Valve's custom AMD APU built on Zen 2 CPU cores and RDNA 2 GPU architecture. You get 4 CPU cores with 8 threads, clocking up to 3.5 GHz, and 8 RDNA 2 compute units on the GPU side. RAM is 16GB of LPDDR5, and power drawn ranges from 4 to 15 watts. In raw terms, this hardware is no longer cutting edge. And yes, newer Windows handhelds offer more power. But here's the important part. This is something I think Valve got right. Steam Deck performance is predictable, optimized, and well supported. Indie games, retro titles, emulation, and older AAA games run beautifully. Games from the PS4 and Xbox One era often hit 40 to 60 FPS with the right settings. Newer AAA games do run, but expectations matter. In my experience, you're usually looking at 30 FPS targets, reduced settings, and sometimes upscaling or dynamic resolution. If you're okay with that, the experience is still enjoyable. This is not the device for running the latest ultra-demanding games at high settings. Steam Deck makes compromises, and I appreciate that Valve has never hidden that. The OLED difference is real. If you're wondering whether OLED actually matters, I can confidently say that it does. The HDR OLED panel delivers brighter highlights, richer colors, and perfect blacks. Response time drops below 0.1 milliseconds, motion rate looks smoother, and the 90 Hz refresh rate makes menus and lighter games feel snappier. Combined with the bigger battery and more efficient APU tuning, the OLED Steam Deck simply feels like a more refined product. Battery life also sees a real-world improvement. The OLED screen draws less power, and the larger battery helps stretch sessions noticeably longer than the LCD model. I personally noticed this the most in indie games and emulation. SteamOS and the console-like PC experience. One of the Steam Deck's biggest strengths in 2025 is still SteamOS 3. It's Arch-based, fast, stable, and designed around controller navigation. You turn the device on and you're straight into your library. Compatible ratings tell you what works well. Suspend and resume works reliably. Updates are painless. Yes, some games require tinkering with Proton. Yes, not everything is perfect plug and play. But compared to Windows handhelds, I genuinely feel Steam Deck is far more console-like. You spend more time playing and less time fighting the OS. And if you want a full desktop PC experience, you can switch to KDE Plasma Desktop mode. Keyboard, mouse, mods, emulators, productivity apps, it's all there. Controls and comfort. Valve absolutely nailed ergonomics, at least in my opinion. Full-size thumbsticks, responsive triggers, excellent haptics, large trackpads with pressure sensitivity, and rear grip buttons make the Steam Deck incredibly versatile. Strategy games, shooters, mouse-driven RPGs, they're all playables in ways other handhelds struggle to match. I still think this is one of the most comfortable handhelds for long sessions, and that matters more than raw specs. Connectivity and expansion. OLED models come with Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, and excellent USB-C support with DisplayPort output. You can dock it, connect it to a TV or monitor, and even push 4K or high refresh external displays. Storage expansion via microSD is painless, and loading times remain solid. Who should buy a Steam Deck in late 2025? Buy a Steam Deck if you want portable access to your Steam library. If you love indie games, older AAA titles, mods, emulation, and flexibility. If you value comfort, community support, and a console-like experience for PC gaming. And if you're okay with tweaking settings occasionally. Skip it if you only care about the newest AAA games at max settings. If you already own a powerful gaming PC and don't need portability, or if you want a completely no-fuss experience like a Nintendo Switch. Yes, buying a Steam Deck in late 2025 is still a great idea, especially the OLED models. The hardware isn't the most powerful anymore, but I think the experience is refined, reliable, and still unmatched in its balance of power, portability, and usability. The OLED Steam Deck is the one to get. Better screen, better battery, faster Wi-Fi, cooler thermals, and a noticeable quality upgrade over the LCD version. The LCD model only makes sense if price is your absolute priority. Think of the Steam Deck not as a replacement for a gaming PC, but as the perfect companion. And in that role, I genuinely feel it still deserves fantastic value and freedom in 2025.